I wanted to pose a question, and I think maybe, well, I think you can all ask it, it's just been burning in my mind since you guys, this was a great panel. And that is that, you know, with this whole global recession and this all these great devices coming out, you know, I mean, you got everything, like you said, you got cell phones and smartphones, and you've even got Game Boys, you know, doing things and stuff. And so now the consumer, because cash is king, and then, you know, people are being real specific about how they spend their money, and you've got these companies with all these devices. So is there carnage? Is there going to be some carnage there? I mean, maybe iPad would be great, but maybe not, you know, just because this thing is taking so long. So, I mean, you have to think about that. You, like you said, 4 operating systems. So I was just curious on what your thoughts were.
You want to take that one, Alistair?
Yeah, well, I'll talk a little bit about smartphone uptake. I think that even as of last year, the uptake of smartphones, versus like feature phones has actually it surprised the industry and surprised industry analysts that it's continued to have an uptake despite a global recession. I think part of what's behind that is that creating the chips and creating the equipment that goes into these devices is getting cheaper every year. It's kind of like a Moore's law type of situation. So I think that whereas it may have been much more expensive to create smartphones and these kinds of devices earlier, year by year it gets cheaper. So I think the cost of manufacture is cheaper. There's also now the availability of some very good open source and free platforms like Android. So the total bill of materials, I think, should be going down, and I think that ideally that will be matched with consumers' ability to pay. And hopefully, the industry won't be creating a crisis where we're getting consumers to spend more than they can. We also have the operator subsidy still in countries like the U.S. that help consumers afford these devices.